welcome to another video. It's no surprise that I'm a sort of master of referencing styles. It is not a skill I ever wanted to have. There's plenty of other stuff I could have done in my life, but I decided I'm going to become a master of referencing styles. So therefore, lo and behold, what's this video about? Most common reference mistakes, okay? If you haven't been able to use my beautiful proofreading and editing and formatting service, if you're saying to yourself, you know what, I don't need him, screw him and his stuffy service, I'll do it myself. Okay, well look, if you're going to do it yourself, okay, at least watch this video and just look at the most common mistakes. So mistake number 1, okay, here we go. Incorrect formatting. So incorrect formatting of in-text citations and reference lists is a common mistake. Ensure that you follow, hang on, I changed my laser pointer here. Ensure that you follow the specific guidelines for your style, including proper punctuation, italicization, and indentation. Okay, that's a very finicky type of mistake people, or rule that you see in these things that people try and go through their whole thesis without actually fixing. It really is important that you fix it. Okay, so let's take number 2, missing info. Okay. Failure to include all necessary information in in-text citations and reference lists is a frequent error. Make sure you include the author's name, publication year, title of the work, page numbers, and all the reference, like author, publication, year, title, blah, 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 DOI, and URLs, and all that sort of stuff. I think some people do this because they copy and paste a reference from a particular website, and the website might be missing information that has the page numbers or the volume number. So just be careful. So if you're pulling it from one particular website, they might have just only wanted the title and the author and the year. So the page number may not have been relevant for them at all. That does not mean that the page numbers do not exist. Check the reference on through multiple sources to make sure that all the information is there. Everything here, make sure you have all of this, okay? Mistake number 3, misrepresentation. Okay, this is my favorite one. When paraphrasing information from a source, it's essential to accurately represent the original idea while using your own words. Improper paraphrasing can lead to unintentional plagiarism. Always cite the original source when paraphrasing, okay? Citing secondary sources incorrectly. If you're citing a source that you found cited in another source, make sure you acknowledge both sources properly. It's preferable to locate and cite the original source whenever possible. If you ever come across a piece of text and it says Malin in Thompson 2013, that just means that I'm using a source from somewhere else and now you're using me using someone else, okay? When you see that in a book, kind of say to yourself, you know what, it's best that I just have the source itself. So go and try and find the book itself. The person may have misrepresented the work intentionally or accidentally. So you want to go and locate the original source, and it looks better. It looks better if your thesis or project or whatever just has you mention something, and then you just have one name in the bracket. That's not like a secondary citation, you know. Oh look, we'll come back in another video. This, okay? So that's, you know, famous Dr. Bell. You know, I'll come back to this another time. Mistake number 4. Okay, over-reliance on direct quotes. While direct quotes can be useful, overusing them can disrupt the flow of your writing and suggest a lack of original thought. Use direct quotes sparingly and make sure you're properly integrated your own writing. That's basically me chatting to everyone who decided to, well, I'm too afraid of plagiarism, so I'm just going to copy and paste the whole thing in and put the author's name at the end of it. So it's not plagiarism technically, but you have decided to check out completely of any sort of work or research. I've got examples of all this, don't worry. So basically, you want to make sure that you summarize what's there, but summarize it sufficiently. And if you get to a part of the text where you're like, I don't know how to summarize this properly, or I don't know how to get the essence of this, then leave that in direct quotes then. Whatever you're unsure of, whatever you're kind of saying to yourself is, I don't know what they're actually saying here, or how I can reword it better, then don't. Just say, do half in your own words, and then the bit you don't understand, put that in direct quotes. Okay, we're on a roll here, okay? Mistake number 5. So when directly quoting from a source, always include the relevant page numbers in your citation. This helps readers locate the exact passage you're referencing, okay? Know the difference between P, so one page, so page 17, PP, which would be page 17 to 19, and using a colon for page numbers. Do not mix and match. A misuse of et al. Et al. Should be used when citing sources with 3 or more authors. Now there's different style guidelines on this. Sometimes it's 4, sometimes it's 5, okay? But make sure to use it correctly according to style guidelines. and use it consistently. So don't have 3 authors, their full names in in bracket in one paragraph, and then the next paragraph you have et al, even though they're the same number of authors. Jesus, we're flying. Mistake number 6, alphabetizing. The reference list should be alphabetized by the author's last name. Okay, so this is just me basically saying to everyone who decides to have a reference list or a bibliography where I'm like Mallon and then Byrne and then Fallon and then back to Murphy. It's like, you know, A to Z. Okay, now look, there's a simple method for doing this. There's an A to Z button in Microsoft Word to help you. Okay, so let's do it now. Let's have a look and see how we can do the A to Z function quickly. So in order to start off, we need to grab ourselves some references. So we'll go down here. So the first thing I said I would do is show you how to alphabetize your references. So what you basically do is select them all. So we can see here Smith, Johnson, Garcia. It's not in alphabetical order. So we'll highlight all of them. So get them all highlighted like that, okay? Then you want to come up here to this button here. This button here that says AZ, and then there's an arrow down. Depending on what version of Word you're using, there's going to be a few different variations on what that looks like, but it will always have A to Z and an arrow of some description. So you want to hit that. Automatically it'll arrange it according to paragraph, so that's exactly what you want. And then just press OK. Now look, B, C, G, J, K, L. And just give you a look at what it looked like beforehand. And now it looks like now. So that's a very quick way of doing alphabetical order. Now we're back. Mistake number 7. Over-reliance on secondary sources, okay? Now, this is a overlap with the other one I had on incorrect citation, okay? But basically, I'll just repeat it again because it is important and it is separate from that one. So while secondary sources can provide valuable context analysis, relying too heavily on them without consulting primary sources can weaken the academic rigor of your thesis. Whenever possible, refer directly to primary sources to support your arguments. So yeah, that's very important because it's good to show that you've actually read the book in question rather than just relying on other people. It sort of functions in a way of like, if someone came to me with some juicy gossip and they're trying to relay information to me because the gossip they got was from someone else who was gossiping about the person in question. I want the original gossiper, okay? I don't want any secondary gossip, okay? Give me the original juicy gossip, okay? So whenever possible, refer directly to the primary source to support your arguments. That's essentially what that means. Mistake number 8. Not everything made it, okay? Here we go. This is the best one. Reference list entries should include all necessary information to identify and locate the original source. Double check each reference list entry for accuracy and completeness, including author names, publication dates, titles, and publication details. More importantly, make sure the people you're referencing in the main thesis make it into the reference list and bibliography at the end, okay? Now, I often say to people, when you're doing the actual list, so you're going, you're saying to yourself, here's a piece of text, and you have in brackets here, Mallon et al. And then you have another bracket here that says Thompson and Murphy 2014. Grab them 2 brackets and put them in a separate file. So then you'll know when you go to check your reference list that, okay, these 2 are definitely in there. So don't leave the reference list till the very end. Like, keep on top of it as you're going through it, okay? Now, mistake number 9, blending styles. This is another bugbear. Know the guidelines and stick to them, okay? Don't copy references off Google and paste them into the reference list. That's a very important one. I'm talking about the Harvard style, basically, okay? Now, I have a video on the Harvard style. And in that video, I talk about, there's multiple versions of the Harvard style. And there's multiple versions of other styles as well. So be very careful where you get them from. Like, as I said, don't copy them off Google and expect them to be 100% perfect. Els Purdue. Here we go again with Bill's love of Els Purdue. Els Purdue just has it consistently, okay? So if you're looking at the Harvard style and Els Purdue, make sure it is the correct Harvard style. And then just stick to Els Purdue for all your information. Don't go like, well, I'll get the how to do the journals in the Harvard style of Els Purdue, and then I'll get how to do the journals in the Harvard style of some other website. Mistake 10, okay? Variations. Now here we go. This is what I was trying to talk about, okay? Be conscious of a style having numerous versions. Both Harvard and APA have subtle differences, sometimes major, across the board. Yes, there's many different versions of the Harvard style. So here we go, okay? Off the top of my head. UCD Harvard style, cited right Harvard. So usually Limerick would use that, UL. Google Scholar Harvard, individual department's version of Harvard. Your supervisor's memory of Harvard, which is another problem. And then your fever dream of the Harvard style, which is essentially a blend of all of these, okay? That's the main points to remember when you're looking at your reference style, is that, as I said, unless you're on top of it the whole way through, you will make these type of mistakes. But it's important that, you don't get too bogged down in it. There's far more important things in your thesis than just the reference and style. I would say get the rest of your thesis right first. If you're one of those people that's just like, I've got 20 minutes left of my time before I submit this, then just have a look at this video, go through the 10 common mistakes and try and at least correct those ones. Maybe 6 or 7 of them you could do in those 20 minutes or however long you've given yourself. But it's important that you at least tackle at least 5 of them. Like if you can get at least 5 of these things sorted, then you're only going to give yourself more marks in your final grade.